we're starting to see more fallout from Primetrust. One of their subsidiaries just claimed bankruptcy. Welcome back, everyone. Before we dive into the main story, I just wanted to do a follow-up to yesterday's clip about Damus. And here we go. This is a tweet from Predator. After talking with Apple, Damus apparently can keep the Zap button on the profile, but not the notes. And here we go. This is the he's retweeting the tweet from Will, who is the main developer for Damus. And yes, indeed, he does confirm Damus can keep the Zap button on the profile, but not notes. It is considered selling digital content if it's on notes. That sounds like a bunch of bullshit nuance. But anyways, we're very happy that he gets to keep that. Damus gets to keep the Zap button. That is absolutely fantastic. We're going to move on over to our main story. So it seems that the situation with Primetrust probably could have been seen coming. And I say this because we've got this post from June 10th, okay, on Crypto News. TrueUSD pauses minting of TUSD on Primetrust. In a June 10th post on its verified Twitter account, TrueUSD informed its users that the minting of TUSD tokens via Primetrust had been temporarily paused until further notice. Despite the temporary pause in minting services, TrueUSD has assured its users that the redemption services for TUSD tokens will continue to operate without interruption. It means that users can still redeem their TUSD tokens as usual. The stablecoin startup confirmed that its partnerships with other banking institutions remain intact, enabling continued user transactions. TUSD's announcement wasn't immune to repercussions, as the stablecoin dropped below its dollar peg shortly after the revelation. So we can see that TrueUSD was having a problem. Okay, now this is where it starts to get a little more interesting. Shout out to Nico Nixonaut, right? Always tags us in all the wrecked and all the problems that go on. And I didn't actually understand the connection until I started doing a little digging. And here we go. This is an exchange called Haru. Okay, so recently we've come across a certain issue with one of our service partners, one of their service partners right here. We're now further investigating the issue with them and seeking the contingency plan to rectify the situation. For the purpose of protecting our users' assets under our custody, we have come to make, here we go, a tough decision that any deposit and withdrawal request will be suspended until further notice, starting from June 13th, 2023. I want to reread that second paragraph, not the whole thing, just the beginning, okay? For the purpose of protecting our users' assets, all right? Protecting your assets, any deposit and withdrawal request will be suspended until further notice. That is to protect you. So you are not allowed to take your money back. And this is to protect you. We live in such a fucking clown world. And people just sit there and we take it. We take it. And just imagine being the person that comes up with this bullshit. Like, they wouldn't want this done to them. Right? Like, you wouldn't want this done to you. Why the fuck would you do this to other people? Incentives and greed and human stupidity. Aren't we a wonderful bunch? Okay. So now we move on to the main piece of the story. This is what dropped today. Well, actually, by the time you're watching this, it's tomorrow. But anyways, I'm recording this today, June 14th. Here we go. Primetrust unit, BANQ, or BANQ, or however you want to pronounce it, files for bankruptcy. Look at that. Bankruptcy filing comes as TrueUSD stops redemptions and Haru Invest ceases operations, citing problems with an unnamed partner. No, it's a named partner. It's Primetrust. BANQ, a subsidiary, or BANQ, or whatever, a subsidiary of embattled crypto custodian Primetrust, has filed for bankruptcy in a U.S. bankruptcy court in the District of Nevada. BANQ's parent, Primetrust, works to close an acquisition deal with BitGo after facing a financial crisis as a result of the Celsius bankruptcy. So that's very interesting, right? I don't know how many people did people really know how closely related that was to Celsius? I don't think so. I can tell you I didn't know how closely related they were. From my understanding, Primetrust was above all that. So apparently not. Anyways, TrueUSD, which has a banking relationship with BANQ's parent, Primetrust. That's right, I'm going with BANQ. I have no idea how to pronounce it. That's what I'm going with, guys. Making it sound kind of French. Anyways, BANQ's Primetrust said that its pause in stablecoin mints and redemption has to do with Primetrust bandwidth issues. South Korean, no, so this is interesting here. South Korean crypto yield firm Haru Invest also engaged in an operational pause, citing difficulties with an unnamed service provider, which is thought to be BANQ or Primetrust. BANQ's internal issues. The company also notes in its filing that 17.5 million in assets were taken in an unauthorized transfer by former officers consisting of trade secrets as well as proprietary information and technology to Fortress NFT Group. And for the people who watched our weekly episode, you'll know that we covered what is happening with Primetrust and the fact that certain stacking apps and custodian services have actually moved to Fortress from Primetrust. So this is kind of interesting, right? Because clearly in this particular case, it looks like there's about $17.5 million in assets that were not supposed to be moved, and they were. And it looks like it was initiated by the people, anyways, the head of Primetrust. Fortress NFT Group was founded by BANQ's former CEO, CTO, and CPO, as we covered in the weekly video. BANQ has sued Fortress for allegedly stealing trade secret information to launch rival NFT platforms Fortress NFT and Planet NFT. It further alleges they engaged in fraudulent activities to cover up their misconduct. BANQ said in a suit against the trio that Scott Purcell, its former CEO, attempted to pivot BANQ towards NFTs. Facing pushback from its board and shareholders, Purcell founded Fortress NFT and then sold BANQ's computers, intellectual property, and corporate infrastructure to the new company. Their theft of BANQ's corporate assets even included taking the company's seat licenses. Seat licenses for the Los Angeles Raiders games at Allegiant Stadium, all without board approval or knowledge. Specifically, defendant Purcell transferred the seat licenses owned by BANQ to himself. I gotta say, am I surprised? No, I'm not really surprised, considering we've seen this type of behavior happen time and time again. And I just want to point out that Fortress IO is also incorporated in Nevada. So all three of these businesses, right? Essentially, the only business that was not in Nevada was Haru Investments. It's the only one. Not that that makes a difference. It doesn't make a difference where it is, but I just find it very peculiar that Primetrust and BANQ and the newly formed entity, which is Fortress, which comprises of the three top people from Primetrust. I just find that very, very coincidental that they're all in Nevada. I wouldn't be surprised if they're all in the same building or maybe even on the same street. But look, that's neither here nor there. The point being is this, okay? To a certain extent, there has been a giant shadow, kind of, or a cloud, I guess you'd say, that kind of seems to hinder at the coverage about Primetrust. Now, it could be because some of the companies that use their back-end services steer away from reporting about them. That's a possibility. But the reality is that now at this point, they can't really hide anymore, right? The emperor wears no clothes. And we can see that sadly, Primetrust is no better than any of the other players in the crypto space. Guys, this is all it's all the typical stuff, right? It's the whole, don't trust, verify. And of course, right? Like, to a certain extent, like, how much can you really dig into and verify about these corporations, especially if they're not publicly traded, right? If they're not publicly traded, there's very limited information that is available about these businesses. Anyways, the whole point, right, is, look, if you are buying your Bitcoin, okay, if you are buying and stacking Bitcoin, then what you really need to do is move it off of whatever exchange that you keep it on, or sorry, whatever exchange you purchase it on. And if you're fortunate enough to live in Canada, I would suggest checking out Bull Bitcoin. No, they are not a sponsor of the show. It's just a product that I've actually used and is amazing. And Bull Bitcoin actually forces you to immediately withdraw. So if you do not provide a Bitcoin wallet address, you simply just cannot make the Bitcoin purchase. It's that simple. So they force you to withdraw. You can't keep any of it there. Anyways, guys. We are going to continue to cover the Primetrust fallout. If you want to support the show, consider liking and subscribing. I will catch you all on Friday because we are recording our weekly episode on Thursday. So I'm only going to be dropping a clip for you guys for Friday morning. Anyways, catch you then. Take it easy.